Hello and welcome to In the Weeds. We're recording live from the Picky Weeds Esoteric Occult Boutique, located just south of Clark Summit, Pennsylvania, in beautiful South Abington Township. Picky Weeds is the largest and most diverse boutique of its kind in Northeast Pennsylvania, with an increasingly wide variety of items for many traditions.
In addition to items for sale, Picky Weeds hosts a wide variety of classes, events, and community-driven gatherings throughout the year. Picky Weeds is located at 105 Layton Road, South Abington Township, PA. Open Wednesday through Sunday, 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. More information can be found at www.pickyweeds.com. That's PICKEYWEEDZ.com, or on our social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. In the Weeds is the official podcast for Picky Weeds, where we strive to bring the community together with topics of interest, guest speakers, and informative discussions to benefit the entire community.
If you'd like to be a guest speaker, either live or remote call-in, please visit www.pickyweeds.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the page, find In the Weeds podcast into an email with your contact information, and send it to us at pickyweeds@gmail.com.
Now let's get in the weeds.
Good morning, everybody.
Take two.
Bella heard somebody walking upstairs, and it was a complete and utter crazy moment.
Aliens.
Aliens. Somebody here. They're coming to get us.
We started a podcast episode, got about 5 minutes into it, and she went batshit.
So welcome back to episode 30, take 2 of season 2. And we're talking about being on the lighter side of what has been a very dark year.
Yeah.
And which is really odd when you think about this thing in metaphysical terms, because this is usually the dark half of the year. And we're coming up on the dark half.
Oh.
Yeah, we're heading into Samhain.
I was confused.
And so, you're coming up on the dark half of the year, and things are starting to feel lighter, and they're starting to feel happier, and they're starting to feel brighter. And it's really a nice lesson in duality. And it's a nice lesson in how to shed light on the shadows. And I think that we all need to start thinking more that way. So if you're carrying the beacon and you're carrying the light and you're doing it for the right reasons and not doing it to be, oh, look at me, how happy, shiny I am. And aren't you attracted to me because I'm just such a butterfly?
No, not at all.
If you're doing it for the right reasons and to shed light on darkness and to reveal truth will reveal itself to you very, very rapidly.
Oh, yeah.
So carry the beacon, carry it proudly, summon the light for the right reasons. It is a sword.
We're seeing a lot of change, too.
Yeah, we really, really are.
And it ties in with what seems to be kind of a fresh outlook on things. Like, it's really been a shift in a lot of people and a lot of feelings and a lot of things. We're seeing people starting new relationships or ending one that didn't fit well, or, it's a lot of
busting out of toxic patterns.
And they're not talking about it. They're doing it.
They're doing it. That's fantastic.
People talk about it for years sometimes, they never ever do any action. But what we're seeing right now is a lot of action. A lot
accepting
of people
change.
Making those changes, making those steps to have a better life. And we're seeing positive people every day, whereas probably for the last year and a half,
God, it was a drudgery some days.
People have been coming in pain and misery, fear. And lots of fear. And I'm starting to see a different emotion on a lot of people. And,
elation, joy,
or just like a bright spot in the darkness, and
like the weight is lifted.
That's really good to see.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is.
There's a lot of people that are exploring new spirituality, or they're expanding their spirituality that they had started, and looking in different directions rather than just the same old cookie cutter. Replace one dogma for another. They're truly seeking and truly wanting to learn, and that is really heartening for two people, running a store.
Yes, it is.
That supplies that. Those the books and the incense and the smelly goods and the things that make you feel good, the crystals,
and the support. The support.
It's been phenomenal.
Hard. It's been amazing. But it's been hard for the last year or two as a healer and a supportive person to know what you're seeing, and you're seeing this fear of change and fear of reprisal, and you're seeing people being stuck in their patterns, and you're trying to reach them, and all you can do and all you should do is embrace them and hear them. And you're not going to break somebody out of a pattern. They have to see it for themselves. Mm-hmm. And the beautiful thing lately is they're seeing it for themselves. And they're breaking out of those patterns, and they're accepting change instead of fearing it. People get comfortable, dude. And they got comfortable in some malaise that was just astounding to me for the last couple of years. Like, why are you not seeing what this is doing to you spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally? Why are you not seeing it? And it's a simple fact that it's what you get used to.
And I think a lot of people are still stuck in COVID mindset.
Yeah,
too.
I think so too. It's like the frog in the water. You put it in the water and turn up the heat slowly.
They don't want to come out of the house.
Yeah.
And I get it. For 2 days a week, I don't want to come out of the house either. I mean, we spend 5 days a week receiving trauma dumps from hundreds of people. And
lots of love too.
While that's why you're here, it does wear on the psyche, and people are constantly, hey, on your day off, why don't you come do that? No. We need those days to recharge ourselves.
And you have to.
And it's nothing against, and we're grateful for the invites and grateful for the inclusion. It's amazing. But understand that for 5 days a week, we put everything we are into this place.
Yes. And into you.
And into you.
Yeah.
And so we require those days off to recharge our own batteries.
Any reputable healer should be doing that anyway.
Yeah.
They should be taking their time in silence and taking their time to prepare themselves and to ground and shield and protect themselves from everything, so that the energy that they're giving to the situation or to the person across the counter from them or on that table in front of them is not receiving that negative toxic energy that's flowing out of you, that's weighted you down. Because you need to do what I do. Even here, sometimes I just go outside the back door. John will tell you, I just go outside the back door and stand.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll go to my tree.
That moment is in.
Yeah. I'm like, I got to get out of here for a minute. I just kind of got to let things go. And I go outside and I think to myself, okay, is this my energy or is this their energy? What is this? And I'll sit there and assess it for a little bit, and I'll release it, and I'll breathe, and I'll think before I turn back to go in that door, okay, that was not me. That was me being an empath, and that was me soaking up some rays that I didn't need to soak up, and I've released them and pushed them out with that last breath. I do a little box breathing in through the nose for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, with my tongue pressed against the back of my teeth. And that last exhalation is push it all out from the feet up, and then walk back in the door with that knowledge that, hey, I'm starting over fresh. And you need to do that. And sometimes when the week has weighed on you, like it does us, you need a couple of days of refresh, recharge, and hearing just your own voice. And if you lived anywhere in the world prior to the advent of the dawning of the age of Aquarius, where everyone thought they were a healer, the healer of the tribe was a rare individual, and they were kind of born with people knowing that that's what they were going to be, and they were sort of cultivated into that. But they were kept aloof and aloft for a reason, and it was to protect their sanity. It was to protect their sacred connections with spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't hear spirit when you got all this noise in your head.
Well, people come in, I think, and, I know they don't realize everything that goes on behind the scenes here, and we can do as many behind the scenes videos as you, it still wouldn't capture, the emotional toll that it takes, because you're expected to be available for people that come through and they have questions and they have needs, and we are, and we understand that's part of the gig.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're a human too. And in addition to trying to help people 5 days a week, you get messages off hours, you get messages all the time.
3 in the morning, damn.
You know, and it's like people have really no understanding that you're trauma dumping on other humans too, that have hopes, fears, worries. And, anyone who's run a small business in the last 4 years
it's a constant state of stress.
You're trying to mask that. I can't even begin to describe the amount of stress that you have as a small business owner, because yes, it's a witch store, it's a metaphysical store, but it's still a small business, and with all the things that come with a small business. So we have to worry about all the extraneous bills, the responsibilities, the licensing, the regulations, the liabilities. And people have a tendency, if you've never done it, to take it for granted.
Oh, yeah.
And well, that's just John and Tay, and, they just sit behind the counter.
Yeah.
That's a 1/16 of what we are doing. And we're not trying to toot our own horn here, because every small business owner, regardless of your genre or whatever you're in, goes through the same thing.
Yeah.
And you try to put on a happy customer service face and be available and be that resource for the people, because that's what you wanted and you never found. So you started the business to provide that missing link. And you start to realize why there are some stores when you walk in and the owners are just assholes.
Grumpy assholes.
They don't talk to you. They want nothing to do with you. That's a result of not taking those 2 days to have nothing to do with the business.
Yeah.
And just completely unplug. That's what turns you into one of those people that hates you. When
Absolutely does.
Let me tell you about my day at work. And they're like, get fucked.
Yeah. I don't want to hear it.
And whereas, our approach has been, oh, yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we have to be interested? Not particularly, but you need somebody to talk to, and that's why we're here.
Yeah.
That's part of the gig.
We're an ear and a shoulder.
That.
Yeah.
But it does wear on you after a while, and you have to have those days of rest to kind of wipe the Etch-a-Sketch clean from all the scribbles.
Yeah.
It's and it wears on you, because different times of the year, there's different stressors for a small business. You have quarterly tax filings, you have payroll tax, you have tax that you have to pay the state, the state government, sales tax every month, and then payroll, what little bit it is, and then how are you going to afford to order the things that you just sold when you had to pay all these other bills and you had a slow week, or people wanted to come in and take up all your time, drink the tea sample, and then walk out the door.
Yeah.
And that happens all the time. And we know that's part of the business.
Yeah.
We don't get upset. That's just the way it goes. Some people are just going to be that way, because right after them will be somebody that takes up your time and then buys something or whatever to support the store.
Yeah. It evens out.
My pet peeve is the ones coming in for donations. They want us to put together gift baskets, and we've never seen these people before.
Yeah.
It's one thing if we know you've been a customer, and then you have a project that you thought maybe we might be interested in. You're part of our community. You're part of the community, and we're a lot more apt to do. Like we don't make many donations. One, we can't afford it. Okay, we just can't. And two, we get inundated with people with their hand out that have never been in the store.
Yeah.
I'm like, we don't know you.
Insane.
You just want our money. Well, we'll advertise you. I don't need you. You're not our target demographic.
I'm literally about to put a no soliciting sign on the door of the business. I've got it in the cry cut, and I'm crafting a vinyl for the door, because it's ridiculous the amount of inane, not even mildly related to what we do here.
Yeah.
People will come in asking for charitable donations to things that, I likely don't agree with.
No, not at all.
And I'm like, are you just like that oblivious?
Yeah.
That you don't understand how much we're about personal freedom here.
Yeah.
How much we're about personal freedom, healing, and being a better person. And you walked your toxic ass up in my building and wanted a donation.
Yeah. It happens all the time.
Oh my God. It's
not just like a once or twice, all the time. And it's really old.
Full disclosure, political ads come to my door, and they meet my ceremonial dagger. I literally take my time, and I know this sounds crazy, but it's sympathetic magic. I literally take time out of my day to stand over my gods and that altar and stab that political ad right in the face.
In the face.
In the face. I'll run my dagger through it. I've left select certain ones laying on the table by my gods with a little bit of laughter and trickster in me, and said, here, you deal with them, and left them laying there for days before I threw them away. Yeah.
Now, we did make a donation this last week, and I was very, very happy to do it. And it was for a very, very good cause. And it was for getting people registered to vote, especially in the marginalized communities, the LGBTQIA plus community specifically.
Yes, in Planned Parenthood.
And these kids were amazing.
They've been our customers for so long.
We've known them for 4 years. They never once asked before. And they were like really kind of cautious about it, you know, and you know, the first instinct is, you know, no, but then you read about what their cause was, and these kids out of their own pocket rented a gazebo for $250 on their own credit card. Yeah, are organizing it at a grassroots level, and trying to get the word out all by themselves. And so we're like, how are we going to do this? Because, you know, we don't have a lot of money. Yeah, you know, all of our money is wrapped up in the store. And there's not much left over. But we scraped together some money off the altars, as we always donate to a charitable cause with those. Yeah. And we decided that this was going to be our charitable cause because probably a good 50 to 60%, and I'm probably being conservative with that number. I hate that word. Probably 50, 60% of our customers are from the LGBTQIA plus community. Yes. So, of course, it just makes sense, you know, and it's one of the things that we fight for. Yeah. You know, it's one of the things that we are active for. Our friends, family, loved ones that are part of that community.
And they know they need to mobilize and get people registered to vote because you have so many people who are so disenfranchised by both sides of the aisle that they forget that you actually put them in power at the local level. So you need to get out there and vote for somebody that you think supports you. You need to look at your local candidates. And this is a huge election reminder that the ones that make all the decisions are Congress. Mm-hmm. Okay? And we now have, to my chagrin, the least active Congress in the history of our country.
They've done nothing.
They've done the least of any Congress ever before them.
Useless.
All they're doing, and I hate to say this, but it's true, is cock blocking.
Yeah.
And they're pandering. And I hear it all the time. And it's like the filibuster, they're consistently using it. And they just refuse to do anything. And it's been bipartisan bills that they've absolutely rejected. There's been 40-some odd ones of those congressmen who have actually blocked, I think it was like 41, 42, 43, that have actually blocked bipartisan bills on the floor to protect the border, bipartisan bills to give a stimulus to the people, or not lower your interest rates, but give you rebate money back on home ownership, things like that. These have been both sides of the aisle bipartisan deals, and these 40-some men and women have managed to block every one of them, so we have the least active Congress in the history of Congress. So you're electing those people at your local level. So these kids are doing a great job reminding that community, and that very marginalized community, that you need to pick people that look like you, talk like you, act like you, and care about you, and vote them into those positions so they end up in Congress.
Yeah, you're supposed to have a representative. That they should be representative of your values.
So it's a big deal to us that they're doing that at the local level, at a grassroots level.
Yeah, I mean, these kids are go-getters. Yeah. You know, and what are they working with? Planned Parenthood?
Planned Parenthood and, oh God, was it which NEPA alliance was it?
I don't remember.
I had the paperwork, but I gave it back to her because I didn't want her to waste money on print.
Because, hey.
I'm like, I read it, but you need to use
print and ink is expensive. Mm-hmm. We know it's,
And she's out of pocket, and I'm like, anything I can do to save this kid money. Yeah. And she charged it on her own credit card, and I was just.
And then organizing it themselves, getting out the vote, trying to get the word out, trying to get people involved. Mm-hmm. So, that's an example of something that, when we have the means, we do like to donate to, and because they're our friends, they're our family, they're our loved ones.
They're our community, they're our customers.
So of course. Of course.
Absolutely.
You're talking to me about your kid's softball game, and I've never seen you or your kid in here.
No.
I'm probably going to say no. Yeah. And it's nothing against you. It's just, we like our money to work for us.
Yeah, work for the community.
Or
for the betterment of our people.
Or the people that we love.
Yeah.
And so that's that.
Yeah, and we always vote to all year long. We donate to the food pantry here,
Yeah.
and to Queer NEPA and the NEPA Youth Shelter. So when you've got a good cause and you've got kids doing good in the world, and they're actually trying to help people that they know wouldn't otherwise be able to register or, find somebody to drive them to vote. And you got these kids out there mobilizing and doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Out of their own pocket. It's astounding and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you want to be part of that.
Yeah, and I think since the proverbial mom and dad came on the scene to be elected,
Yes.
it's kind of changed people's perspectives too.
Yeah, the dynamic has truly changed.
And we are noticing, it's discernible.
Yeah.
The positivity that's rippling through the community.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, maybe it's not over.
Yeah.
Because I think we were all kind of in a position where, well, time to find an immigration lawyer and look to Europe or something, because this place is going to be
up in flames.
I enjoyed The Handmaid's Tale. I don't necessarily want to live out the live action play.
Yeah.
That's fucking terrifying, and anyone who's got eyes can see what they've already started.
Yes.
And it's terrifying.
And the laws that have already been enacted to give a sitting president immunity.
Oh, well, the
completely
women
above
having
the
their rights stripped.
Yes. Yeah, Roe v. Wade overturned.
If you don't have a uterus, shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm. None of your business.
It's none of your business. Mind your own damn business.
And let me just drop this caveat. I have always been, a supporter of women's rights in that venue, but I also support your right not to have one.
Yeah.
So, sister, don't think that I'm pointing at you when I protect these other women and their rights to choose.
Yeah.
Because I understand why some of you choose not to. And I understand that you're worried about the psychological detrimental effect on you should you do something like that. What I don't understand is those of you who want to make your sisters breeders and force them, especially young children, to have children and be stuck with a rapist baby in their arms where they have to raise and look at that holy terror.
It's fucking disgusting.
They were put through every single day in the face of that child. And what kind of life are you guaranteeing that child? Because that mother is always going to resent that child.
Oh, yeah.
Always going to resent that child.
Yeah. Even at some level.
Yeah.
Even if they don't want to admit it.
Yeah. They're going to do their best. Most women are going to do their best to try to get past it.
Sure.
Because they realize it's an innocent they hold in their arms. But there's never going to be a moment they don't look at it and remember what happened to them. There's never going to be that moment that you can look at that baby and not remember that you were raped or that it was, somebody that you trusted in an incestuous relationship, that you had no choice but to entrust your life to. You're never going to forget that. I'm sorry.
And I think more men need to start standing up too, vocally. Make yourselves known, what they're doing to our sisters, what they're doing to our mothers, our daughters, our loved ones. It's unconscionable.
It is.
And
it absolutely is.
Men need to not stand idly by.
Yeah.
Or be afraid of being called out for. You need to stand up. You need to be loud. And if you have a voice, use it.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, this patriarchal bullshit tends to give the male voice more weight. I don't know why. It seems like it. It shouldn't be. And I hope that it stops. But if that's the case, then use that voice to support your sisters.
Yes.
If they're going to listen to you, then make them listen to you. Don't fall in line with their bullshit. I fucking despise the patriarchy. It's disgusting. I don't think anyone needs to be telling anybody what to do with their body at all.
Not
Full
at
stop.
all.
Period.
It's
nobody's business but that person.
I wouldn't dare tell a man what to do with this. Yeah.
It doesn't even register.
Yeah.
Like, what?
It makes no sense how it's any of my business.
And this all boils down to minding your own business.
Yes.
What our mothers taught us when we were children. Mind your business. What was that? We had a great mom in here this week. What she tell her little boy when you start to act up? What do we say? Manners make the man.
Yes.
And I'm like, damn.
I was like, I love you. You were so amazing.
He was, he was a good kid, really. Honestly, we've seen much, much worse. But the manners make the man.
Manners make the man.
Yeah.
And in the same vein is what we're talking about, like standing up for each other. Even if you don't agree with it, you need to stand up for somebody else's rights. Yeah. I want you to remember this poem. First they came. And it's first they came for the communist, and I did not speak out because I wasn't not a communist. Then they came for the socialist, and I didn't speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionist, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. And I'm probably going to kill his name. It's Pastor Martin Niemöller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had, 5 self-immolations?
Yes, oh my God, and you've only heard about one of them.
We heard about one. We just had one this week.
Yeah.
In Boston.
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't have known if it wasn't for TikTok.
No.
That's why they want to get rid of it.
And his manifesto was on there, and we got to watch him prior to it.
I mean, it's horrendous that it has come to the point where people think they're not going to pay attention unless I do something this dramatic and life-ending.
Yeah.
To send a powerful statement, but then you have the media that just completely ignored it.
Yeah, it's insane that you would ignore that.
You know, and we have to remember that this is not the Walter Cronkite era of journalism.
Yeah.
This is the clickbait. They spend 3 hours on a morning news show talking about the most inane bullshit.
Football.
You know, or even worse, what movie star is fucking the other one? Who fucking cares? I do not give a shit.
Yeah.
And, when there's all of this stuff happening that they shield you from, so you don't know and you can't take action.
Yeah.
And a lot of people from our generation and older still make the error of thinking that modern, broadcast news is the same as what we had when we were kids.
Yeah, they think it's just news and just truth.
It's 100% propaganda.
Yeah.
So you have to really dig to try to find pieces of a story that you can corroborate with other places and maybe find out an inkling of what's going on.
Well, pre-Reagan, the fairness doctrine dictated that you had to tell both sides of the story. If you tell one side of the story, you were required to tell the other side of the story as well. And you were required to vet it through several sources before you presented the material to make sure that you weren't being duped and the country wasn't being duped and the viewers weren't being duped. But then Reagan somehow saw fit to do away with the fairness doctrine. And ever since then, you've been able to lie like they do on these political commercials. Mm-hmm. Or, they'd say we're not lying, well, you're obfuscating because you're leaving out information. If you're leaving out information and presenting it as fact, fuck you, you're lying.
And they cite sources that are their own.
Yeah, that are biased.
You said it because I said it back here.
Yeah.
You can't cite your own propaganda as a source.
That's like, what is it? I cannot remember the name of that fact-checking organization. I believe it's the District on Facebook. I went and looked at their background. They were fact-checking our post. And they're a completely Republican, far-right Republican, not a Republican like I was growing up, far-right fascist Republican group who were being allowed to fact-check on Facebook. And I'm like, are you shitting me, Zuckerberg? I said Zuckerberg, and I meant it, Zuckerberg.
Yeah. Well, he's doing everything he can to preserve his yacht fund.
Yes, absolutely. That thing is an egregious.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Oh my God.
We used to look at the Saudis with their platinum covered Lamborghinis and shit and go, look at that gaudy shit.
Yeah, but look at ours. Yeah.
But now it's here.
Ours are disgusting.
Because we've allowed an oligarchy.
Yeah.
And
we got penis rockets, for fuck's sake.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Oh my God.
And they give that fuckhead credit. He didn't invent Tesla.
No.
He bought it.
He
didn't invent SpaceX. He bought it. He bought everything.
He didn't invent Twitter. He bought it and called it X.
And running it into the ground as fast as he can.
Because he's an enormous twit.
These decisions you make as business owners, or even corporations, right? So corporations have huge committees and meetings where they vet ideas.
Yeah.
And they run those ideas by the upper echelon, and the upper echelon discusses them, kicks them back, makes changes, or just does away with them altogether, or they agree with it.
Yeah.
It's a whole process. But as a small business owner, you are the committee.
Yeah.
So if you have an idea to do something new, it's executed much quicker or turned down much quicker because it's just the two of us.
Absolutely.
What do you think? I don't know.
Maybe.
But within 30 minutes, we'll come to some kind of decision or we just table it.
Yeah.
But those decisions happen and they make changes in things. It's not something that's, I don't know where I'm going with this, but.
Well, it's like the corporate decisions to discontinue things that are their best sellers.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
And it just drives me nuts. And McDonald's is one of the world's worst for doing that. One of their best sellers is McRib, and they only sell it one time a year. Yeah. And they do that. They do that on purpose. They do that to drive sales. To make you crave and want and beg them to put it back on. Fuck you.
I mean, I guess you could say, what does this have to do with paganism, this discussion? Well, it has everything to do with it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that have something to say about people mixing their sexuality or their identity with their paganism. And I can see that perspective to a point. However, you are what you are.
You are what you are, yes.
And when you're dealing with spirituality, that comes from the deepest reaches of your soul. So obviously what you identify as or not is going to play a part in how you practice. And what you identify as, when they're trying to criminalize it, do you think that they're going to stop with the LGBTQ community?
No, you're next.
No, if you don't fit the metric, you're going to be out, and your name will be on a list. So, I mean, these are things that we need to talk about. As a pagan store talking about this shit, why are you talking about Project 2025? Why are you getting involved in politics? We normally wouldn't. Yeah. But this isn't politics anymore.
This is morality.
We're not talking about a debate between Republican and Democrat on what's the best way to upgrade infrastructure, or what's the best health care plan, or, what kind of a tax break should we do for this? Or
speaking of health care,
should we raise taxes here, there, whatever? It's not about that anymore. They are declaring war on a large segment of the United States population that doesn't look like them, think like them, or talk like them, or share their values. That's called fascism, what they're doing. And it won't stop. It won't stop with one marginalized community. They're going to steamroll over everything. It's already written down.
Yeah.
We had one lady on TikTok was reading it page by page.
Yes.
Oh, he has nothing to do with it. Okay, that's why half his administration, almost all of his administration, is part of it.
Yeah.
All right. And he's gone on record and saying, there's so much fucking evidence to the contrary. But, of course, he never lies.
I think I'm still shocked to the people that fall for the dog whistle.
Oh, Michelle Obama's a man.
Yeah.
Biden is a robot.
Traditional values, nuclear family.
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I'm like,
Jesus
oh my
Christ.
God.
It is
but
a
people
cult.
do, because it resounds like, okay, those were the good old days, when one person worked and everybody else stayed home and da-da-da-da-da-da. They're not telling you the other side of that story.
Yeah.
They're the ones that broke that shit system, too. Okay, so back in the day, that traditional family, usually one person did work outside the home, and everybody else had all the elders in there help them take care of the children. They had all their aunts, uncles, cousins living with them on the farm. This is the way I was raised. Grandma lived right there on the land with us, and so we always had somebody to care for us and look after us. And then mom and dad could work if they wanted to, and
that doesn't
you
happen
always had hands.
Yeah.
They made sure this very same party that lauds this dog whistle traditional values are the ones that made sure we no longer had that and installed what they now call the nuclear family, which is when everybody came back from World War II, they sold them a bill of goods about home ownership and about freedom. And it being tied to your freedom and building a stronger middle class. And they had all these houses that you could literally buy for like $15,000 for the whole entire house. And people moved away from one another. And they became isolated. And they built big suburban communities where only whites lived. And then the blacks had their communities. And they made sure that we didn't have any diversity around us. We were easier to control.
I heard him bragging about it when I was a kid.
Yes.
Like they would price other communities out.
Yeah, they did.
I was like, what?
What the fuck kind of ugliness
is wrong with
that?
you?
They're ugly. They're infantile. They're fearful.
This kind of thinking needs to die. Mm-hmm. It needs to die.
It
because
does.
we are more of a melting pot now than ever. And the only attack point that they have is immigration. Oh, they're coming in. They're coming in over the border, blah, blah, blah.
And I got to say, I'm pissed about the one pointing fingers at the Haitians, some of the finest, kindest, most decent people I've ever met. And
Absolutely.
I was raised with some of them. So, yeah.
Brilliant.
Screw you. Yeah.
Beautiful. Brilliant people.
Absolutely.
It's so disgusting. And I mean, it would be funny if less people were falling for it.
Yeah.
You don't see the Carney Act.
But people you never expect would fall for it. And I mean, my jaw must hit the floor several times a day. Like, oh my God, how can you believe that?
Or why do you feel safe to come into our store and start spewing your talking point bullshit?
Yeah.
Did
you think I was just going to sit there and put up with it? Did you?
I don't want to hear that shit.
You don't know me, do you? Yeah.
So if you do that, expect to get something back.
There will be pushback.
Because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing it. And I know you are too.
Oh, yeah, God. I am sick to death of it. But I'm about to hang a sign over the counter that this is a sacred, safe space. Do not talk politics.
And I used to say, look, I don't care what it is, but it has now moved beyond politics.
It's morality.
It is now a question of morality.
Yeah.
And if you believe that shit that you're spewing, I'm really not that interested in you at all.
No.
And so either keep it to yourself or, I don't know, fuck off.
Well,
I don't want to hear it.
I've really found myself very disappointed in people that I thought, really had some great conversations with and thought they were super intelligent. And then they'll spout some conspiracy theory thing that they've not vetted for 1 minute, but damn, it sure sounded good and sure supported their
cognitive dissonance.
Yeah. And they'll say that to me, and all I can do is sit there and be shocked for a minute, and then me, because I see everything cartoon, I start laughing at you. And I'm like, oh my God.
Well, I still say, I look at their representatives that are spewing this shit, that are starting all the crap, and I can see the personality type a mile away.
Yes.
They're the ones that were never really knew their jobs.
Yeah.
Like we both worked high-end, highly skilled positions, right? Big time positions of trust that you had to have a lot of technical aptitude to be successful in.
Absolutely.
And these were the people that faked the funk.
Yeah.
Like lied on their resume is the least of their violations.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know anything. They're the one in the meeting that everybody's kind of making side eyes at each other like this motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's who they are.
Well, you and I both come from corporate where, you hear people say that corporate says, don't bring me problems, bring me solutions. Ours were really, really, truly like that.
Oh, yeah.
You had better not come in here with a complaint that you haven't figured out how to fix.
Oh, no.
You better have a solution walking through the door.
Yeah.
Or your ass is out.
Yeah, because I think too many of us, and look, I include myself, I used to have this mindset. And I call it the employee mindset, where you develop this false sense of entitlement.
Yes, like they need you.
Where
they can't survive without you.
You start to think that you are integral to that company living or dying, and that if you left, that company would be in shambles.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to fall into that because, there's horrible bosses out there, and they will say some fucked up shit, or they will ask you to do some fucked up shit.
Or they will instill in you that you are indispensable to make you do, listen to me now, more work. Because if you feel needed and you feel wanted and you feel valued, you'll work harder.
You're my best guy, John.
Yeah, it's a dog whistle.
You're my best guy.
They just went
my best guy on it. And you get that entitlement, and it's almost like a sickness, because then it starts to translate into that mindset where if I leave, well, you need me, you better not talk to me a certain way, or you better do this. And look, I thought like that too. I look completely guilty, right? As having been an employee for 30 plus years until I became an employer.
Yeah.
And it's not like being a manager. Manager is another hurdle all in and of itself, especially if 1 minute you're a coworker and the next day you get promoted.
I think you learned that in your last corporate job because we brought it here.
And now you're a manager.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
But being the owner.
Yeah.
is a whole different perspective
Yes.
because now
everything reflects on you.
It's your money.
Yeah.
It's your reputation.
Yeah.
It's your everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you get an employee in there that starts to develop that entitlement syndrome, it gets old really, really fast.
So,
And I'm not talking about anyone in particular. I'm just making general references.
yeah, don't see yourself in this. Just listen to it as good advice.
It's a mentality that we need to shake.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying as an employee that, you should be doing XYZ this way. But your mindset should be at least, understand your role.
Yeah.
Your role, you're being paid a wage and you should be providing the service that you get.
But
now,
caveat.
Yeah, big caveat.
Listen, this is what I said to everybody, and especially a lot of my agents. Don't ever let them know exactly how much it is you can do. Because when they find out that you can do certain things, they're going to expect you to do them without pay. They're going to add those to your job.
That's corporate America.
Yeah.
And that's happened to me time and time again.
Don't do it. Whatever you do, hide your skill set.
Yeah. Unless you're going to be paid for it.
Yes.
You should be compensated for the skills that you bring to the table.
Yeah.
That's why they should hire you over the other person because you have a certain background.
Yeah.
For the longest time, people weren't hired because they didn't have a 4-year degree. And you want to talk about some of the worst managers I ever had.
Good Lord.
Were people that had a 4-year degree, and the 4-year degree
nothing to do with
wasn't even in the least related to the job.
Not at all.
Like I worked at the Brickyard. My manager had a degree in ceramics. Okay, so I guess in a long shot way, you could say, okay, well, he puts stuff in a kiln and fires it. Yeah, ashtray.
Yeah.
We're talking about 50 cars loaded with brick going into a kiln the size of 3 football fields.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different.
Yes.
But because he had a 4-year degree, he got the plant manager position over somebody that had worked at the Brickyard for 15 years and knew every process flow.
Charlie should have been the
down,
plant manager.
left, right, center, knew everything about the facility, knew all the people, knew how to fix things, knew what to do, understood production scheduling.
Yes.
But no, let's hire this kid that just graduated school because he's got a 4-year degree. Now I'm seeing that there's some changes happening where they're doing away, at least at the federal level, with a lot of positions that previously required 4-year degrees. And that's a good thing. And other companies need to take note.
Yeah.
Because you're missing out on a lot of talent.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there are, the vast majority of people that I've worked with were dedicated professionals. Their job they took almost personally.
Yeah, oh my God, yes.
It was their name on it.
Yeah.
And so there was pride in their work. And rest assured, when they get on the call with the vice president, they had no qualms with telling everything that was going on, everything that was wrong, blah, 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 blah. It was straight shot answers,
Yes.
Where you have the person who starts to feel entitled. It just spoils the water,
It does.
and it makes everything bad.
And it ruins it for everybody.
Be really careful you don't fall into that, because I can tell you from the employer's perspective, it's not what you think it looks like.
No. They're stringing you along.
Yeah.
You've already created sort of a toxic work environment. But for now, right this minute, I got to have somebody in this position. I got to have a warm body. But trust me, they're shopping.
Oh, they're immediately looking.
They're shopping.
They're
It
immediately.
happens.
The very second they start to pick up on that,
We've been in those meetings.
you're already looking. Mm-hmm. The door's already cracked.
You're in that meeting as upper echelon, upper management, and they go, "We need to find somebody to replace Paul. He's getting pretty toxic."
And so there's a difference between working in a high-end corporate environment than blue collar. I've done both.
Yeah.
But blue collar, you're a lot easier to replace.
Yes. Oh my God, you're just a number.
And I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it. But you'd still get mad because they would make stupid decisions. They didn't consult you, the employee, before they made this decision.
Yeah. They made you come home from your grandmother's funeral. You didn't even get to go. You didn't even get to go.
Yeah. I got threatened with my job.
Yeah.
So I know what it feels like to have a shit boss.
Yeah.
But don't get it twisted. you're still an employee and you need it to feed your family.
Well, look at me. I defended myself against the boss that put his hands down my pants. I knocked his ass on the ground.
Yeah.
And I'm the one that got fired.
Yeah. And it happened all the time.
Yeah.
But the thing to do is, if you're in that kind of environment, then, now's the time to start the job search. So just the way the employer's got the door cracked, you can crack that door too.
Yeah.
They call it at-will employment for a reason.
Yes.
You don't owe them a 2 weeks notice.
No, you don't. And you probably shouldn't give it.
No, because companies are firing people that give a 2 weeks notice.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
I gave my last employer a 6-week notice just because of the position I was in.
Yeah.
But that was my decision. I've had other jobs where I just set my keys on the table and walked out the door.
Yeah. I've had jobs where I gave my 2-week notice and they let me go on the spot.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've seen that time and time again.
Then I'm 2 weeks without a paycheck because I told the other place where I was hiring in that I had to give a 2-week notice.
And then they can't bring you on until that date because of their schedule.
And that contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've signed a contract.
Yeah,
Legal's not going to let them.
I think, though, it's just important to keep the right kind of mindset and that you're owed a safe work environment. You're owed a harassment-free work environment. You should get paid on the day that is a designated payday. You should have all the rights that are coming to you. But when we get that entitlement, that entitlement is such a poison to everything, and including jobs, but also your spirituality. How many entitled people have we seen walk around with this air about them when we all know? And anyone who's practiced more than a second knows that you need to have that aspect of humility.
Yes, you do.
Because if you're not humbled by other people, you will be humbled by life.
Yes.
You'll
be humbled by spirit.
And spirit will definitely humble you. And for folks that are struggling with, mental health, magic may not be the first thing that you need to look to.
No.
Because as you progress, it can get more challenging to anyone's mental health.
Absolutely.
No matter how sound you think you are, it will test the boundaries of that. So, we always recommend having a strong, relationship with a mental health professional. Especially if you're going to be an occultist.
That stigma's not there anymore. You can't complain about that anymore. That stigma has been wrested from our society as it should have been ages and ages ago.
Yeah.
Because I remember you and I were having this conversation the other night with all the trauma that you went through. Not one person, as you as a young teenager, sought to get you therapy after the loss of both of your parents when you were in the house when your dad dropped dead.
Yeah.
And nobody sought to get you help. But that entire generation, as I remember, I couldn't get mom and dad to go to therapy either, was because of the stigma of your community. And it was that if you were in mental health counseling, then something must be terribly wrong with you as a person.
Yeah, it was seen as weakness.
Yeah, and you weren't trusted either.
It was seen oh, you got the papers, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm happy to say that the growth does happen.
Yes.
And you're seeing it in modern society.
Yeah.
Especially amongst young people, there's no shame in it, and there shouldn't be.
No.
And you're right. When I was 16, Dad died right in the room right next to me, and that was the longest time in a dark house staring at his dead body, waiting for the ambulance.
Yeah.
And then I had no idea what to do, or I'm a fucking kid.
Yeah.
And
nobody's trained for that.
3 days later I was picking out his casket, making decisions and writing a eulogy and making all the adult decisions.
Yeah.
And it was kind of fucked up, and at about a week and a half after he died, the bank had gone into the house and pulled everything out of the house, all of Dad's property, all of my property, everything in the house. And it was all in the front yard for about 65, 70 strangers to pick through and bid on, because Dad had put everything into a trust, and the trust had to liquidate all the assets. So, we lost everything.
Yeah. Everything that was precious to you.
I have very, very little property of my dad left to remember.
Yeah.
But that's the way they did things. And people talk about their trauma.
Yeah.
Okay, so, we've been over that before. I don't want to revisit again. But, then there was a big stigma, and in therapy or mental health never entered the statements. Nobody even mentioned it.
No, you were actually told to pray to Jesus. He gets
Oh yeah, it was Jesus, Jesus, Jesus all the time.
Yeah.
And remember, my mom had a brain tumor the size of a softball on her medulla oblongata, so she was fucking mean.
Yeah.
And very, very physically abusive, and it was always to Jesus.
Yeah.
And she had never been a holy roller. She was a fucking Methodist, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
But she turned into this monster.
Yeah.
And, so she had died a couple of years before that. But, it was rough. It was always Jesus, 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 the answer to everything. I mean, okay.
Oh, my God.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Became an emancipated minor and became a complete fucking wackadoodle there for a few years, and turned to alcohol. And it's one of the issues I have, I think, with intoxicated people is really triggering.
Yeah.
That and the abusive language.
Yeah.
It triggers not in the, I don't really have a flight response.
I don't either. It's terrible.
So it's triggering in the wrong way.
Yeah. I don't go to bars, y'all, for good reason.
I'm not good being around high people, intoxicated people that run their mouth because they want to get high and have happy. And look, nothing against getting high.
And being happy.
But get high in your own home.
Yeah.
Where you can be safe and sit on your couch and eat your Cheetos and Netflix and chill. But
because when you get loud, I'm immediately triggered that you're getting loud with me. It feels like you're getting loud.
Yeah, because you
me.
came from a highly abusive relationship. Too,
Yeah. And so it's like sometimes I really have to sit on my hands and I push myself way back. Because I don't do bars because
Oh, absolutely not.
I can't keep my hands to myself.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, and I know better, so I just don't go.
No.
Yeah.
I can't be around it. And like people have come in the store high, and it's really off-putting.
Yeah.
And I look, I don't want to be the person that tells you what to do in your free time, but don't come in here high.
And yell. Oh my God.
They get louder and louder and louder and louder and louder. And it's just like, oh my fucking God.
Do you not have a volume switch for an indoor voice? Can we switch that one to indoor?
I have nothing against weed. I think weed should be completely recreational, legal.
Mm-hmm.
I think, alcohol, of course, but you do that in your own home.
Yeah.
That way you're not going to hurt anybody else. You're not driving. Yeah. You're not, and you're definitely not going to inflict albeit unintended trauma on people that are around you that maybe they're fighting sobriety too.
Yeah. Because I'm still fighting sobriety to this day.
You're fighting sobriety and you're dealing with a very violent past that's centered around alcoholism or, any other kind of inebriation. It's very triggering.
Yeah.
Loud and angry and abusive voices make me mad.
Yeah, they do.
They don't.
And it doesn't even have to be directed at me. Yeah.
I don't have the shrivel tendency.
I'm just like the hairs on the back of my neck raise when the tenor of the voice goes up, and the volume goes up, and I'm like just sitting there waiting. It's like I'm perched on the edge of my chair. Oh my God, am I going to have to do something?
Yeah. And you're looking for escape paths in the room.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to hurt you.
Yeah.
But you are pushing.
You're about to wear
buttons.
a chair. Yeah.
It's just like, we were gaming the other night. Everybody knows Bella. Bella's just happy-go-lucky, do-de-do, triple D dog. Loves you. Loves everybody. When Bella is home, that is her queendom.
Yes.
And if you go by her house too loud in an unauthorized manner, she becomes a true Rottweiler.
Yeah, she loses it.
Somebody heard her over a Discord the other day while we were gaming. Is that Bella?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. That's Bella.
She's very protective at
That's her home. Yeah. That's her den. That's her people. Yeah, that's
when
Bella.
The delivery person steps on the porch.
Yeah, how dare you?
She loses
Don't you step on my house without authorization.
Yeah. No. Oh my God.
She's very protective. And it's kind of like that with us.
Yeah.
And people misjudge you based on your customer service skills.
Yeah.
Because you're polite and you're open, you're friendly. And that is the real us. Yeah. It's not an act.
I'm also still dealing with my triggers, folks.
But there's a lot going on behind the eyes that maybe you don't understand. And
Nobody's
you're just assuming.
Perfect, y'all. Yeah,
you're just assuming.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, I remember when I first brought you down to introduce you to all of my cop family in North Carolina.
Oh, they were like, blink twice if you need help.
They did. It was terrible.
Are you okay?
And
I'm like, what? Are you okay? You know, you can call me on my cell if you need help. 'Cause this one's crazy. Just letting you know. You know, people around here are like, oh, that's Tay. Tay's this, that, and the other. Tay will go to your ass.
And Jimmy's like, she climbed us like a tree. She climbed us like a fucking tree.
Yeah, there's I don't give a fuck. And it's, look, a lot of people tell stories.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yes.
I'm
sorry.
It is not rhetoric.
It was awful.
Yeah.
I was dealing with addiction, being in throes and trying to, I wasn't addicted at the time that I met John. I was dealing with recovery. But my hormones were so off from so many things that I was just 0 to 60 in less than a second.
You were 0 to medieval.
Yeah, I was. And I'm sorry.
We both were.
Yeah, it was insane. Yeah. But I was, and the thing about it is I knew that it had to be something internal, because I could hear myself going, and I could hear the things I was saying, and my mind was telling me, you need to stop. Whoa, slow down, you need to stop. And there was nothing I could do to stop it.
Yeah, the train has left the station.
Yeah, the body in motion stays in motion. Holy crap. It was awful. It's like, and I can hear me trying to reel myself back in still to this day.
Yeah.
And it was, I'm embarrassed by a lot of it.
Oh, yeah, I am too.
I was nuts. I was nuts.
I look back, I'm like, I don't even know who that guy is.
Yeah.
You know, fucking monster.
And we're both trained, so that makes it even worse. And it's like, and you're mad at yourself because in your training you were taught discipline.
Yeah.
But when that trigger is hit.
Oh, yeah. It's gone. Yeah. Train left the station.
Yeah. There's been a lot of shadow work for me for about 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's
But, I think that we're not special. I think a lot of people, especially in Gen X, because
we raised ourselves, damn, y'all.
Look, kids, it was hard.
Yeah.
And it was violent, and it was dirty. And it was ugly.
We mosh pitted for recreation.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Yeah, this isn't the jump around in circles. No,
we punched.
Yeah. But it was normal. Yeah. We didn't think anything of it. Hey, let's go play lawn darts and try to eat each other's shadows. Oh, shit, you put one through my ankle. What are you passing out for? It's just blood, you pussy.
We shot each other with BB guns.
Yeah, all the time.
I've had to have them dug out of me.
All the time. We were fucking stupid.
Yeah, it was insane.
I mean, but nobody supervised us.
No. I mean, you were told when we were young, and I know you guys probably think this is just a meme, but we were literally told, don't you set foot back in this house until the street lights go on, or till the sun goes down. Then you can come back. And then you come in and you best clean your ass up, sit down for dinner. Yeah. And then I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear you. Go do whatever it is you do, but be seen and not heard.
I'm really proud of the growth, really, because, there's been some shit that's even happened here that had it been about 30 years ago.
Oh, God, I'd be in jail.
Dude.
I'd be in jail. My God. I'd be in jail.
Some people would have toted an ass whooping.
Oh, my God.
And now it's just like, okay, whatever.
I mean,
just showing your ass.
The girl at the store that spit on me, and I launched over the counter, and she said it was like a fucking horror movie.
Yeah.
But I did. I went right over the counter at the pantry and drug her over it with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, I know, look, war stories are old, and people are like, oh, God, here we go. Fucking Gen X running off their mouth. But look, this shit was true.
It is.
It's not truly, bullshit. Yeah. It's not a propaganda video.
No. No.
And I think that is why we are endeared so much to so many of the young folks that have that spirit,
that gumption.
And so what? Maybe, and some of them have gone through some really violent shit. And it's some really traumatizing shit. They have.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of our generation likes to scoff and go, we had it harder. Look, there's a lot of kids going through some rough shit now.
They never had the freedom we had.
No.
Let's just face it.
No, they didn't. They can't fuck up. There's fucking cameras everywhere.
It sounds horrible that we were told to leave until sundown. But do you know the freedom and the independence it gave us? And these kids were raised. A lot of these kids were raised in basically a cell of their own creation.
Oh, yeah.
All this media, all this digital, all
or parents with no discipline or boundaries.
Yes.
This whatever kind of parenting where they're
And they go out
trying to be their friend.
They call it gentle parenting.
No,
and then they go out into society and wonder why people get mad at them.
Or why they get punched in the face.
Yeah. It's like, well, you weren't taught any better. Yeah. I mean, but honest, I don't think they've ever known the freedom that we had.
My dad used to tell me, there's always somebody bigger.
Yeah.
There's
oh, my
always
God,
somebody
yes.
faster.
I've had my ass beat.
There's always
times.
somebody stronger.
Ooh, yes.
One day that temper's going to get you in trouble. He was right.
And you know what? The funny thing about us was you would get your ass beat and you'd end up being friends the next day.
Oh, absolutely.
It was a whole different world. We didn't go try to prosecute you. We didn't try to sue you. I mean, most of them.
Some of them, my Scorpio heart still is lying in wait.
But I mean, honestly, we didn't get all litigious. You got what you got.
No,
you asked
absolutely
for it.
not.
Yeah.
No, nobody even thought like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to sue you.
Yeah.
A pussy.
Yeah, that's exactly
You
what we... You
can't fucking take it. And then you remember all the little bitches back then.
Yeah.
These are the politicians of today. Mm-hmm. These little bitches that
those mealy mouths little
couldn't
shits.
fucking hack it.
They went running to the principal or their mama.
Yeah. The little snitches, the little whiny, little sniffing bitches.
But usually they started it.
Yeah,
usually
absolutely.
They started it.
Yeah, because they thought that they could just run their mouth.
Yeah.
Well, you get 10 and make change, as Fred Sanford would say.
I never will forget Ted, whose parents came to my house because I beat him up. And my mom said, well, what did your boy do to my girl? And I was like, Mama, respect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he shoved me. And I shoved him into a locker.
You want to play? I wrestle horses for a living.
Yes.
You
this
ain't
is
a
what
horse.
I do.
You just a little boy.
I bale. I do hay bales in a barn.
You know, but there's kids nowadays that are just as tough.
Yeah.
You know, but you're right. They've got shackles on. They've got,
they do.
You know, and it bubbles out their frustration or they internalize it to the point where it's degrading and eating their psyche.
Yeah.
But thankfully, the stigma of mental health is fading fast, and it's becoming recognized as something that is very, very helpful.
I'm so glad about that too.
And we're really excited for the live coming up with the mental health professionals.
Yes. Puglisi.
Yeah, he's fucking amazing. Easy to talk to, non-judgmental. Great guy. And look, we've met a couple others in the area. Same thing. They're freaking awesome.
The lady from Thaxton.
Yeah, amazing people. Yeah. And look, if you don't have a mental health professional, even if you think you're fine, you probably have something to talk about and at least have somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
Because we get mistaken for therapists a lot.
Yeah, we're not.
And we're not. Look, we got our own shit. You know, I'll be as friendly and helpful as I can, but understand you're talking to somebody else that's fucked up in the head.
Yeah.
Talk to somebody that's trained and licensed to help you. You know, and I'm not complaining. Don't take it that way. It's just.
I don't mind being in your ear, but
mental health is so important, and people really need to take advantage of it because it is so helpful. And it's something that we didn't have when we were in the fire, so to speak. You know, because it was a very tumultuous time to be a kid.
It was insane.
You know, and to be that free to do whatever. We had no supervision.
Yeah,
none. I still have a shoulder injury to this day because. I thought it would be great. I don't know if you know what a tabletop is, but in BMX bikes or even motocross, when they go up a jump and they get a bunch of air and the bike goes horizontal, I did one of those, except I landed on my right elbow and it shoved my shoulder basically to my other shoulder. And it tore every ligament. And I had to have surgery on it like maybe 30 years ago. And now that surgery is worn out. So I can't raise my arm higher than my head on the right side. Yeah. You know, it hurts all the time. And I lay on it. I can only lay on it for about 5 minutes. And it feels like
And he won't let me get him the pillow because he's hard-headed.
You know, fancy hippy-dippy pillow.
You do need a hippy-dippy pillow. No. But no, seriously, guys. It's one of those things that I don't think anybody can say enough. There's no stigma anymore. See somebody. Don't let it get the best of you. And now you've got that avenue to go to when you're being bullied out there. You've got that avenue.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. I realize they won't let you take care of yourself and take it into your own hands like we used to. And
which I think is a mistake.
I do too. Because
I'm not advocating for violence,
no,
but you know,
bullies need to be met.
Yeah,
face to
otherwise
face
they
and head
become
on.
Politicians.
Yeah.
To deal with fucking carpetbagging douchebags from out of state.
I mean, the way we used to deal with one another. My goodness.
You know, these are, if you look at the personalities that we had to deal with as kids, or even as young adults, these mealy mouth, little sniveling snake in the grass people that just run other people down. I take
umbrage to that statement.
You know, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But these are the personalities that are trying to take control.
Yeah.
And we can't have that.
Yeah, but no disrespect to snakes. I love snakes.
Oh, I love snakes too. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, just little shit asses.
I'm just yanking your chain.
We'll just call them shit asses.
Why don't we just call them slugs?
Snitches.
Yeah, I call, you know, the people always say demons, and I'm like, those are not demons. Those are sludge beings that you're dealing with over on the other side. So we'll just call them sludge beings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My house is haunted. Congratulations, you're in Pennsylvania. Everybody's house is haunted.
Welcome to pre-Pangea.
Of course your house is haunted.
We hope you enjoy your stay here.
I would think it more unusual if you said your house wasn't haunted. Well, it's a brand new house. Yeah, where'd you build it? Pennsylvania. Okay. What's under the house?
Yeah, wait a minute. It'll happen.
You know?
Just sit still.
And it's okay. Don't be afraid of it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
We have that conversation all the time. I'm like, have you tried having a conversation? With spirit? You know, have you tried? You know, because it used to be human, and it noticed that you can feel it or you can see it out of the corner of your eye, and it's really happy about that because it's lonely over there.
You know the haunted crucifix that was a gift, right?
Yeah.
That he couldn't have in his house because it was giving him horrible nightmares.
Yeah.
Half the time I'm up way before everyone else in the house. I make the coffee, get the kitchen started, getting everything ready to go, and I'll sit and chill out and vape and watch the news. Well, I walk out in the morning, and this has happened probably, I don't know, a dozen times now since we've had that crucifix, which is hilarious. It's right next to Pazuzu on our altar. It's a good place. But she'll be standing there by the table. Hi.
Yeah.
I'm like, morning. I'm like, so whatever. Hey, morning. Just don't get in my way to my coffee pot, and we'll be fine. But she's like, I'm like, hey, what's going on?
What's happening there?
My house is haunted. I'm like,
that's
bless
cute.
your heart.
Yeah.
Would you like to see one?
The one that gets me is me getting up in the middle of the night thinking it's Bella going up and down the hallway. I can hear the toenails on the hallway. And it's not Bella. She's laying over on your side of the bed.
He's always been with me.
Yeah, he's up and down the hallway all night long.
Always been with me.
Dude. And I get up in the middle of the night and I go to the bathroom and I'm sitting there going, dude. You're keeping me awake.
It wakes her up, and she goes ape shit, thinking that, you know, where's the fucking other dog in my house?
I don't like other dogs in my house.
You can audibly hear it click, 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 click on the wood floor.
It's bizarre.
And I remember once working in the prison, an inmate was yelling and screaming at me and blah, 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 running off at the mouth, and and all of a sudden the inmate, did you hear that? I'm like, He's like, the fuck was that? It was just a deep growl. Yeah. And you could just, like, there was nothing there.
Yeah.
You couldn't see anything, but you could hear an ethereal growl.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that? I don't know. I didn't hear shit. What are you talking about, man? Yeah, you just said you heard it. I'm like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. It's fun at parties.
That's not what I heard.
Well, the only one that saw my pentacle once, and he gave me the up with folk sign. Yeah. Oh, hell yeah, man. I'm like, yeah, that's not my gang. It's not my gang.
You want to meet mine?
Mine don't need guns.
I'll introduce you.
Because in that period of time, it was very heavy ceremonial left-hand path practice. And I was a very angry person.
Yeah.
They had a lot of hate to feed on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Black mist in your house is no fun, kids.
No. I remember Bruce saying that's what scared him off. And this is a Navy SEAL going. This terrified me so bad that I quit practicing for about a year.
Yeah.
And I was like,
So the spirits aren't real. I'm like, okay. You keep thinking that.
Yeah.
All right.
Energy is constant.
Mm-hmm.
It's finite.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It cannot be created nor destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
It always is.
Yep. Was that the first rule of thermodynamics?
Yeah. Well, it's got to go somewhere too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And so Let's see. Let me see. Don't get me down the path, because
Oh, why not?
yeah, I'm like, oh
We
my
like
God.
dark, shadowy paths that lead to pitch black areas.
It's like,
About how to go sundered heads, eyes without sight. These are pleasing things to me.
All right.
Blessed be.
All right. So it talks about the conservation of energy in the first law. So
I was thrilled to meet our hoodoo people this week.
yes, I was.
So
too.
we're
They were
going to be
amazing.
carrying their candles. So we're phasing out some of our other spell oil.
Yeah,
They're
yeah, you're talking about
they were good spell oils.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with them, but these are a whole nother level.
Yes, they're
so
amazing.
an actual hoodoo practitioner, upstate New York, familial, traditional, fucking amazing people. We're going to be getting their spell oils that they make per their tradition.
Yes.
And I can attest
They're
to...
going to be teaching here next spring.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
very excited. But hoodoo is folk practice.
Yes.
Very, very similar to what we do.
Yeah.
I'd probably say very similar to
Yeah.
what we do.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I mean, it's pretty much a hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's folk magic, and I love folk magic. And so their candles are amazing too. And I can attest to the efficacy of their candles.
Yeah.
Because the minute we lit it, we got results.
Yeah, we did.
And we got results all
All
week
day.
long.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so really excited to get those in.
And the candle burned for over 8
Yeah.
hours a day for about 6 or 7 days.
Yeah, about 6 or 7 days.
It's
and
amazing.
she uses wooden wicks.
Yeah,
and,
wood wicks and parasol.
absolutely amazing.
Which
And they're-
is safe for your critters too.
Even like
Yeah.
the physical appearance of the candle is really pretty.
Yeah.
It's a nice black metal tin. I love it. I love everything about it. Couldn't be more excited to carry their
I
stuff.
found the first law of thermodynamics.
Here we go.
So what I was talking about, when I said that it cannot be created or destroyed, energy cannot be created or destroyed, but it can be transformed from one form to another. Does that explain things to you guys when you think about people passing on?
Yeah.
In an isolated system, the sum of all forms of energy is constant.
Mm-hmm.
An equivalent statement is that perpetual motion machines of the first kind are impossible. Work done by a system on its surroundings requires that system's internal energy to be consumed. So that amount of internal energy lost by that work must be resupplied as heat by an external energy source, or work by an external machine acting on the system to sustain the work of the system continuously.
Mm-hmm.
So that should help you really think about it in scientific terms of
How
all
energy
this
works.
how energy works, and how it stays in the system in which it was originally created and never leaves that system. It just reformats itself, basically, for those of you who like to use the digital terms to describe spirituality. It's
Motherfucker, don't
reforming.
say download.
Don't say download.
Jesus fuck.
Yeah, it drives me crazy. So if you know what drives us crazy, what y'all call download, we call messages from spirit. We call it spirit
I mean, okay,
speaking.
nomenclature,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Semantics,
But it
whatever you
kind
want
of
to call
kills the spiritual vibe of it when
Yeah.
you call it that.
it.
And
Like, what
yeah.
are you, an iPod?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, but there's a
Stop
lot of
it.
people that do believe we're in a simulation. So,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, if you've come across the cheat codes, let me know, because this level sucks.
Yeah. Please, can you send me the cheats? Do you have a video on that?
I need to plus 10 my wand in Elden Ring terms.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Tay became the Elden Lord last week.
I did.
Which was awesome in her little bouncy witch
I
hat.
am the Elden Lord.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That is our therapy. We're broke bitches, so
It's our
we
date
do
night.
cheap shit
Yeah,
that we've
yeah.
already paid for.
Yep, that's right. Yep, we do not eat out.
No.
We're gonna order in today, but
Yeah, it's
that's
like
a rare.
special.
That's a rare thing. It's about once every couple months we order in or something. But
Rosario's Pizza, best pizza in town.
yes, so we're gonna order that.
Yeah. I'll
I
be
think-
sick for 3 days, but it's worth it.
I think I'm gonna have a salad. Yeah, I have to go with my pizza, but yeah, very little pizza for me because no. Oh, have mercy!
But-
I don't want to spend 3 days in hell.
I am very excited to get those.
I am
the
too.
candles, the spell oils in. We're going to have war water from her.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And we love supporting local.
Yes.
And
they've supported us since we opened.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Fantastic people. And can't wait for them to give their lecture.
Yes.
And so today, of course, it will already be in the past by the time you hear this, but today we got
Dean Fisher.
Dean Fisher coming in to do a talk on Norse mythology, which is awesome. We're really trying hard to not only have fun activities, but also activities from people that are vetted, know what they're doing, know what they're talking about.
Historical sources.
Yeah, really excited about what's coming up in the next year. I mean, we've got Christina Rawls coming in November.
Yeah, she'll be here in November.
Love Christina. She's fantastic. If you haven't had the privilege of taking part in one of her events, I highly recommend it.
She's a trans-channel medium.
There's a lot of people that say they're mediums, and maybe they are. Who am I to say different? With this experience, I've only had one other interaction in the past 5 years that has made me pause and go,
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty impressive.
Yes.
And that was the other medium I'm referencing is the
Virginia.
one that works with Keys, Pennsylvania Paranormal. Mm-hmm. She's fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely.
So pretty excited about new things coming.
She got me yelled at by my aunt.
Yeah, she did. Oh. Sarah Francis, you idiot.
I mean, my God. Couldn't have been any clearer or any louder walking through the door that night.
A lot of weekends we have Nicole here doing wire wrapping.
Yeah.
Nicole's fantastic.
Yes, the wandering werewolf wire witch.
And of course, Liz doing tarot on Saturdays. Mm-hmm. And we've got a lot of cool shit.
Lindsay
happening.
doing a lot of free.
Love Lindsay.
A lot of free gatherings for tarot for you to learn tarot.
You get the nature hike coming up with Sierra Club.
Yeah, that's on the 22nd.
Yeah. And take advantage of these.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more disappointing than putting all the work into something and then nobody shows up or one person shows up. Everybody asked.
And these guys are giving their time.
When we were in the old store, all we heard every day, I wish you guys could have events. I wish you guys could do this, that, and the other. And then you do them, and sometimes they're standing room only, and sometimes nobody shows up. Yeah. It's just luck of the draw.
And it's usually the ones that they ask for that they don't show up for.
I'm like,
when I do something off the wall or do an herbal class or something,
they show up. It's really frustrating to set aside space, time, money, and have that other person, the presenter, do the same things, space, time, and money.
Yeah.
And then people don't support it.
It hurts your feelings.
And it gets to the point where like, well, what the fuck's the point? I'll just rip the curtains down and we'll put shelves in.
Yeah.
But we don't want to do that. We want to have community events. Yeah. So take advantage of them. Most of them are free.
Yeah.
Or they're extremely low cost.
Yeah.
Kim does great jewelry classes. Extremely cheap for what she's giving you.
And you go home with a free piece of jewelry and knowledge.
Yeah.
How to do it yourself.
And one of the best teachers out there. She's extremely patient, very personable. Everybody comes away from the classes
I've literally been standing at the counter yelling for her when they asked for the same thing the 5th time.
Yeah.
I was in my head, I'm going,
Yeah, she's fucking amazing. So these are people that are really bringing a lot to the table. So take advantage of it, especially now it's coming up on the winter months. There's not 100 bazillion festivals to go to around here like there is every summer. I mean, that's a whole nother subject.
Yeah, oh my God.
Do we really need 1,000 fucking festivals?
Yeah, people are just worn out.
I mean,
the festival representatives are saying we're not getting anybody. You're not getting anybody because you're boring. You're doing the
oversaturated.
Same damn thing every single
Everybody
time.
get together and have like 3 big festivals.
Yeah,
and call it good.
Something really amazing.
Like Wild Women did a great job. They had all kinds of things there.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was engaging for everybody there and classes.
Yeah, but they don't do
events.
it every 3rd Tuesday.
Right. It's a special thing. It's special. And it should be special. Mm-hmm. We don't need one every goddamn weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even before we were in business and we had free time, we might go to maybe 1, maybe 2 the entire year because it's the same shit.
Yeah. Every single time.
Why?
Same vendors. Yeah.
Same
that everything.
One is the same shit every year.
Yeah.
They're even set up in the same freaking spot. This is just boring, guys.
Yeah.
Give people something fun and make it special.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm just an old man yelling at the clouds.
Yes, grumpy butt. Oh my God. And my vape battery is dead. So.
Oh, we can't have that.
Yeah.
So wrapping this up for everyone's safety.
Yes, because I get really angry. And irrational. Yeah, when I run out of nicotine. Yeah.
If you guys listen this long, love you. Have a great week.
Take care, guys.
And we will see you later.
Bye-bye.
So we hope you enjoyed this episode of In the Weeds, and we hope you didn't have to pick too much pucker brush off your cloak after visiting with us here. If you liked the episode, please follow, subscribe, and share. And if you're really kind, leave a positive review. Be sure to tune in next week as we publish a new episode weekly. If you're in the area, stop by the store and see us. Thanks so much for listening, and have a great day.